Alright, today I'm going to show you how to create the three-dimensional room that eventually you're going to do your final project in, but also for today's activity, which is making two pieces of the same furniture just from different points of view. So what you're going to end up with at the end of today is something like this, which is the same furniture just shown from two different points of view. And for you, you guys are going to choose the actual, like some furniture that you're going to put into the room you're designing. So to start your project, you're going to push that blue plus in the top, and then down here you can adjust the size of your canvas. It doesn't quite really matter what size you make it, as long as it's a rectangle that's wider than it is tall. Then you'll click OK. I like to make this a little bit smaller so I can see the entire page. I'm going to turn my ruler on. And of course, if this is something that you're doing on paper instead of on your iPad, you can do the exact same thing. All you're going to do, the only difference is that you're going to be using an actual ruler instead of this ruler tool on the app. So first things first, you got to make sure that your lines are actually lined up on the corners. I'm going to use my brush tool. I'm going to go ahead and make a line from corner to corner. Just realized it's not really quite on the corner. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Alright, I'm going to call that close enough. Obviously, it takes some tries. Alright, I think that was right on it. There we go. Alright, so I'm rotating it to the other corner. I'm going to do the same thing. So now I've got, if I turn my ruler off, I've got an X in the middle of my page. I'm going to add another ruler to this, but this time it's not going to be diagonal, it's just going to be horizontal. I'm going to create the back wall of my room right now. So for starters, I'm just going to make a line that connects these two parts of the X. Okay? And then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to rotate my ruler so it's perfectly vertical. I'm going to zoom in so I get a better view on connecting that. So you want to make sure that wherever it's connecting on that line, you want to get it as close as you possibly can to the actual intersection point. Right there. So then while this vertical ruler is on, I'm just going to slide this over and do this right side here. And now I can rotate my ruler back to horizontal, and I can connect these two. And if I was accurate enough earlier, they should actually line up. Alright, so I'm going to turn my ruler off, I'm going to turn my eraser on, and I'm going to kind of clean up any of these extra little lines that are sticking out. Because we don't want a messy room that has extra lines hanging out everywhere. Okay, so what we've got so far is the back wall, but currently it has a big X on it. Before we get rid of that X, I'm going to go ahead and add another layer. So that's down here where there's like a bunch of squares layered on top and there's a number 1 on it. You're going to click that, click on the plus button, not the plus that's inside the square to the right of that, just the plain plus button. And now you can see that it's highlighted blue. You're not on the bottom layer, you're on this second layer in the middle here. And what we're going to add, I'm going to do mine in a different color so we can actually see it pretty well. I'm going to add a vanishing point right in the center. I'm going to turn my brush back on. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so it's easier to see. I'm going to try and get it as close to the middle as I can. Alright, so now that's on a different layer. If I go back to my original layer, I can actually turn my eraser on and increase my eraser size, and erase everything, and it's not ever going to erase that vanishing point because it's on a different layer. So I'm going to go ahead and erase that X off of that back wall of my room. And this is the exact same steps that you would actually follow when you're starting to create the actual room. But remember, for today, we're just doing a practice exercise of making a piece of furniture from two different points of view. But this step is going to be the exact same when you go to make your actual room. Alright, so now we've got our room, we've got our vanishing point, and what you're going to do next is you're going to create a third layer. So you're going to push that plus button again, And you can put this above that vanishing point layer. I like to have my working layer be on the very top instead of underneath everything else. Okay, so this is going to be able to let us like edit all of our furniture, erase it without accidentally erasing the walls behind it. So for example, if I turn my eraser on and I just scribble all over, I'm not going to be able to erase anything here. But if I draw something here, then I'll be able to erase it. Yeah? Okay, so what I'm going to do first is make a couch from the side. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn my ruler on. I think it's very helpful to create things really blocky just to start with, and then you can always round out the corners later. So I've got my ruler lined up horizontally. Okay, I don't want my line to be that thick, maybe about like a 2. So this will be the bottom of the side of my couch. And I'm going to rotate this up so I can make the back of my couch and the front of like the arm of the couch, and maybe that comes up a little bit higher. And then I'm really just connecting all my lines to create the side view of my couch. So back to vertical, back to horizontal. And of course, this is the same idea, same principle as if you were using an actual ruler. All right, so if I turn my ruler off for a second, you can see that this would be like the side view of my couch. One thing I did forget to add are some legs. All right, and just to give them the bottom edge. So now I'm going to take my ruler, I'm going to line the center of that circle on the dot. This is kind of tricky because your finger's right on top of it and it's hard to see, but try your best because that's going to make it the easiest to maneuver your ruler. So now you can swivel this all around and your top point of the ruler is going to stay on that vertical, on the vanishing point the entire time. So for now, I'm going to use my brush tool, line up this bottom edge of the ruler with every corner that I see. I'm going to make that go all the way to the vanishing point. Now, sometimes our line's going to run into part of something we've already drawn. When that happens, just stop drawing the line. You don't have to continue it all the way because you're going through your couch and you can't see through your couch. So you're just going to stop as soon as you hit that couch right there. Okay? That's the same thing for this corner right here. Since the entire line is on the couch, you're not actually going to draw that line at all because you're just cutting straight through your middle of the couch and you don't need it. All right, so here, I forgot one more line right there. All right, so now, so far, we've got a very blocky couch. And now we're going to need to cut this off right somewhere around here to actually give the couch an end so it's not just going on forever and ever. So I'm going to turn my ruler back on. And this is the same thing as when you practice just making three-dimensional shapes on that perspective practice assignment you did. So really, you're just following this same edge just further down the line. Make sure that it actually connects to both lines there. And I'm going to keep extending that actually because I need that, the leg of my couch as well. And now I'm going to follow all of my vertical lines. Well, I take that back. I'm going to rotate my ruler here. So you always want to work with lines that connect. So I just finished this line. So I'm going to connect this section. And now I need to rotate my ruler up so I can connect to the previous end of the line I just made. And again, I'm imitating this line right here, just further down. Okay, so far I've created a very blocky looking couch. The last thing I would need is to actually make the width of my couch leg right there. Okay. So right now I need to actually cut out the indent where you would actually sit in this couch. So I'm going to give this couch some arms. I don't quite know how long that's going to need to be, so I'm just going to make them a little longer. And if you need any help specifically with a type of furniture and you don't quite know how to make it, you can join the Zoom meeting that I have the link on the agenda every day, and you can just talk to me in person that way, and it'll be a lot easier. So again, for this part right here, I need to line this part up with the vanishing point. Try to find that again. And then I'm going to line it up with that corner there, extend it to the other side of the couch arm. I'm going to turn that ruler off. And now I've got a bunch of extra lines that I can go back and erase. And because our couch is on a different layer than everything else, we don't have to be too worried about if we go over those room lines. So you actually kind of makes this step a lot easier. Now when you get into some corners, you'll have to decrease your eraser size to make sure everything's nice and neat. Okay, almost got everything erased, except for this bottom line right here. Alright, so this is something that I missed. And you'll probably notice that you miss a lot of things, but that's fine. That's just part of what we're doing. So right here, I'm gonna make sure my ruler's actually straight, and I'm gonna make the other end of, when I turn my brush on, the other end of my couch leg. There we go. And now I can actually erase these lines because I don't need those anymore. And right here, I'm going to finish off that leg. It's going to go right there. All right, so now you can kind of see our entire couch from the side. I'm going to go and work on my background, or like my my room lines layer, so I can actually erase away everything that's behind my couch. And this way, again, super convenient having everything on a different layer, is that you can just erase away without worrying about erasing away your couch. So now you've got your couch. The only thing I would also add here is the actual cushion, or the corner of that couch. Yeah, maybe that too. Alright, so we've got our couch from the side. You can go ahead and watch the other video for the couch from the forward perspective, like looking at it straight on.